Well, I believe that with the change, even if I'm only one, I know that I can lead the way. Cause I've seen it and I've been there, had to face it the hard way.
What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Rena. Welcome back to the Elevated Podcast. This week, I'm in the DMV. We had a few things to take care of out here. And I'm also alongside my friend here, Victor. He is actually going to be on the show today with us. So I'm super excited about that. If my voice starts to give out a little bit, if you hear raspiness, just know it's been quite the week. I actually lost my voice and I got a little ill the past couple of days. But luckily, we are here and we're going to get to hear from you today. How are you feeling? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Honestly, I'm feeling good. It's just like what she said, we were both a little bit sick, these past couple weeks. But, I'm feeling awesome.
What do you think is in the air? Everyone's like getting sick. Is it a DMV thing or is it a traveling thing? Because I know you were just in Florida as well.
Yeah, my niece said she just gave birth just now.
Congrats.
Traveling back and forth, I think it may be the pollen or, I don't know what's going on or changing scenery or transition.
I will say in Miami, I don't really get pollen. There's not really pollen out there. I don't know which area of Florida you were in, but I don't experience too much pollen. But I will say here in the DMV, definitely a lot of pollen. Everyone's been getting super sick from allergies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said that your niece just gave birth.
Yep. Beautiful baby girl.
Aw, congratulations. That's amazing. How does it feel?
It feels great. She's all right, her and the baby daddy, they're definitely going to handle it pretty well. So, I'm happy for them.
We love to see it. That's amazing. That's great. So what brings you on the show today? Originally, you actually reached out to me and you told me that you had some things that you wanted to share. You have a mission and purpose that you want to fulfill as well. So I want to hear a little bit more about what brought you onto the show, what inspired you. Thank you as well for seeing my vision too. Let's talk about it.
I'm definitely super excited. I'm glad to definitely be, this is actually one of my first actual podcasts where, I get to break down a little bit more on, who I am, what I do. Obviously, I am in real estate. My name is Victor Salcedo. What really just brought me into the entrepreneurship industry was knowing that, I want more, and I've always had a vision from different businesses, from network marketing, from different investment ventures that I've tried out. Everything just always led, to me, that one thing that I've been always interested in.
Which is entrepreneurship? Or would you say more real estate?
Real estate.
Real estate,
okay.
Entrepreneurship
too.
Yeah, I've never dove deep into real estate, but I've always had a strong passion for investing. And one of my dreams long term obviously is to own property and property invest. I wouldn't necessarily say sell houses as far as my career, just because it's music and everything else. But I would say putting money into property investing and things like that.
Right.
How did you fall into the real estate? Because I know you said that you've done different things in business. At what age would you say you started tapping into the world of business and stuff?
So I knew that I wanted to get into real estate when I was in my 20s. I'm officially 30 now. But I didn't really had a set path or, the right mentorship to really just show me the ropes on, what to do, how to invest properly. But what really just got me interested, my mom, she is a farmer. She owns land.
Wow, she's a farmer?
Yeah, so she owns.
That's amazing. She has animals and grows her own food and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. She has all that.
Awesome.
And what really got me interested, she owns land down there. She's been
in Florida?
In Panama.
Oh, in Panama.
Yeah, in her home country,
wow.
right.
Beautiful, okay.
Yeah, and then it just always led to that idea that, I've always wanted to own houses. I know my own family, they've had their struggle when they bought their first home, and ended up getting, bankrupt. And I wanted to figure out a way, how can I do it? How can I do it right? And how can I do it where, I know that I'm getting the best value, for my investment and, for these homes. And,
Yeah.
it's crazy, it's a wonderful industry. You think about like the biggest, most powerful people like Donald Trump, like the Hiltons, all these, different people, where did they get their riches from? They all started with real estate.
Yeah. I mean, they have the hotel industry too. Like that all goes hand in hand with it. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about, I know you said your family like went through their own struggles, such as like foreclosure. What kind of advice could you give someone out there who might be going through something as well? We had a conversation before this episode where we were talking about how you can own property, but at the same time, the government can take away that property. So what's like the safest way to do it to make sure that you're gonna own it and you're not gonna lose it?
So
You work so hard to maintain this house, and then God forbid you lose your job or you go bankrupt, and now you don't have money to pay off the house.
so there's a crazy thing about that too. Like so, like Rena said, you're absolutely right that, like even if we completely pay off our homes, we don't 100% own it, because, what comes, like after you own the house, you're still gonna have to pay the taxes until you either sell it or you pass on. And even if you pass it on to your children, the children still are obligated to pay those taxes of wherever, they're at. And if you don't pay those taxes, guess what? Government takes your house, and what are they going to do with it? They're going to, send it off to auction and send it to, consumer investors, like regular people like you and I, but, people with deep, deep pockets. So there are definitely ways to definitely avoid it. Me and my partners, we utilize a exit strategy known as, seller finance or sub two. Sub two is more of like, that way where, like like these people are literally in distress. Like, dang, like I need to sell my house.
Like they need to just get out of that situation.
They need to get out of that situation. So what happens is, in this type of, scenario, these people don't typically, qualify to refinance for for another loan. And then in that case, that's where we come in, and we'd be like, we offer a special, a special term agreement where they get their money over time, we do the repairs, and then right there, they get their asking price of their house, and they get a down payment. So that if they need to handle some,
So your company would essentially like pay off the house for the consumer, or like how does that work?
Essentially, we definitely, pay off like their taxes. So, we usually utilize like, we ask them questions. So like, how much do you owe? How much do you owe off the mortgage? And then we essentially help them pay off like over time in installments. So they're getting installments plus interest, depending on, and it varies by seller to seller on what terms
So
they're
they would still be paying off the house, but you guys are able to help so that they're doing it in installment plans, and in the end they're paying interest rates on top of that. So they're still kind of losing more money, but at least they're able to pay off the house and not like go into like.
Well, actually, it's more of like, we're paying the interest for them to the seller.
So how does that work on your end, like your company? Like, where is the gain in value from there? Like, they now have a house that they can sell on the market? Is that, so that's like the collateral in exchange?
So they have a house that they can sell on the market.
Your company has a house they can sell on the market by buying it off of the seller.
So, yeah, that's typically, how it usually works. And there's just different strategies. Like the seller finance, let's say they completely have the entire house and all paid off.
So you just need to pay like taxes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. But they can't afford to pay taxes, let's say.
Yeah, so they have equity on the house, but they don't want to deal with the hassle of like, let's say for example, like I don't want to live in Maryland, and I want to live in Florida, but I have this house that is already, paid off and all that. I may do a seller finance deal where I'm going ahead and just, like having the borrower just, finance, essentially, basically the owner of the property becomes the bank. So instead of me going to the bank for a loan, I'm going towards you for a loan and I'm paying you off.
Okay, yeah, we definitely gonna have to have like a one-on-one, like whole consultation about this.
It's pretty interesting.
So, do you guys offer these kinds of trainings and courses for people that may be interested in learning more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone that's definitely interested, you could definitely DM me. I could send you the link of my mentorship program.
Yeah, or if you have, like, you could send us a link, we could paste it here. I know you also sent in a lot of content and stuff that we're gonna plug into the video too, like different marketing materials. So I feel like financial education is something that we're not always taught in school. Like, I know I had an econ class in high school, but that's as far as I got as far as like finances in just like grade schools. So I think it's definitely something smart to invest yourself into, put your time and energy into learning. So I think all of this is very valuable. Thank you for sharing. And our audience, I definitely encourage you guys to tap in and look into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to notate this, like investing isn't as, it isn't as, it's simple, but it's not easy. But like this notion that, these rumors that people say that, oh, you have to have money, like you got to have like deep pockets, working for someone else to save that amount of money and then qualify for a bank. That's not always the case, because, the crazy part is, like you may be a property owner and you may not even know that you yourself are already a bank, like, because these homes right here, they have equity.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, we try to take it away, from like, from just buying and selling homes to now we're trying to provide a service where we're essentially trying to help people out that are going through a very, very tough situation, and they have to sell a house, otherwise, the bank is going to take it and they're going to be left with nothing.
Yeah.
And we're heading towards a time where even just only all cash offers, and I spoke to a lot of clients too, like, and they're not too much budging on that. So they want like the most value, and that's understandable because
people work hard for their houses. I mean, my family home, like my parents, they've owned their house since the 90s. 90s, early 2000s is when late 90s, early 2000s when they bought their house. So it's been over 20 years that we've had this family home. So imagine that, we work, like, not we, but they worked so hard for that home. Of course, like, after all those years, you're going to want the best return on your property.
Absolutely. And I humbly agree with that too. But yeah, like, I'm super excited. I'm glad to definitely work with a lot of these, these business partners, these investors, because they all specialize in these type of, programs as well.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of these programs, like, and this doesn't just go with just residential land, commercial.
What would you say are like, do you have like a favorite as far as the type of people that you work with? Like, not people, but the business. So like commercial, residential homes, like, which would you say is like your favorite like avenue to take on?
I'm more like on residential. I feel like it's the best way for people to get started, because you're just helping someone start where they left off. There's also there's wholesaling. What is wholesaling? You get a property under contract, you get the contract, and you could sell the contract to a cash buyer that wants to go ahead and rehab the property. A lot of agents, they're not too much in favor of these, you know, type of exit strategies. And it's not the fact that they're not, it's just in those real estate, you know, when people are just getting their licenses, they're not educated too much on these type of programs. It takes a real good, you know, experienced agent that's been doing this for like a brick to be like, oh, you know, I'm familiar with that. And even title companies are kind of like, you know, iffy because, you know, again, it comes with all education.
Yeah.
And knowledge.
How'd you find yourself in this realm? Like, how'd you land here? Because I have friends that do real estate, but what you're doing right now, like as far as helping families, like really protect their homes, it's a completely different avenue. Like, you're not just selling houses. So how did you find yourself in this area?
How do I found? I just
Networking, of course.
networking, you know, events, and I started to, you know, get a little bit of the ideas of like, because I used to only offer all cash, but I was like, how are people able to get more for their house? And then I found, you know, those same people, and then I just, you know, gave them a phone call, and then I just network with them.
Yeah.
And I usually go to all those re-up events and stuff like that. And
The real estate events? And that's how you found your way into it. Okay.
yeah, another great real estate investment for people that are, you know, that don't have too much income and, you know, they don't want to take on too much risk. It's called, they call it real estate investment trusts. So they're similar to like stocks. So, you know, like you invest into like a actual real estate investment company. And then, you know, when they sell their homes and stuff like that, you know,
You get some type of like percentage back?
You get some type of percentage back, exactly.
Very interesting. That's interesting. Are you into like Airbnb?
Absolutely.
I love Airbnb.
And the crazy part is, you know, this sort of program I was talking about, perfect for those that want to buy and hold, you know, just rent, or even short-term rental, you know, Airbnbs as well.
It's amazing. Amazing.
With the change, even if I'm only one, I know that I can lead the way. Cause I've seen it and I've been there, had to face it the hard
So Victor, tell me about this card you have here. What's this?
Okay, so this right here is a digital business card. I got so tired of just
handing out business cards.
Handing out business cards, you know, this is just an all-in-one. So now everything's all digital. So all you
just
do,
scan it?
You scan it, you could tap it on the phone. And then all the info is all right there, even for my Cash App, Instagram, Facebook.
It's amazing. I love these, y'all. Even if you're not like a business owner, even if you're a creative, it's good to have one of these because you can link like your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything to it. And like he said, you just boom, tap it on the phone and it'll pop up. I don't know what brand that is. I mean, we don't do free sponsorships. We don't do free sponsorships. But we don't do free sponsorships. But what do you call them? Like if we could just Google it. Like digital business card? Digital business card.
No name or nah?
No, not the company name.
Okay.
No, for real, we don't do that.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, there's just different types that you could use. There's, you know,
digital business cards, yeah. So you can like add your QR code and stuff. But yeah, definitely recommend that to everyone. So you have all your stuff in one place. But yeah, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about like your family, your upbringing. Are you full Panamanian?
Yeah, full Panamanian. Mom, dad were born in Panama.
Were you born here in the DMV?
I was born here in DC.
DC, okay. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Do you get to visit Panama a lot, like since your mom has her house and everything over there?
I don't visit it quite often. My brother went down there. He said it was pretty interesting, but he wanted to come back.
Interesting. Interesting, how so? He didn't like it too much?
He didn't like it too much.
Did he say why?
I think it was just a little bit of some family stuff.
Oh, okay, more family stuff. But as far as like nature and everything, do you feel like you like that vibe? Because DC obviously is like very city and very urban, whereas Panama is probably like El Salvador, which is more like El Campo. Like more open, animals, nature. stuff like that.
So yeah, I definitely like, you know, the scenery and everything. Even though, you know, Latin America, despite of its, you know, political, you know, and, you know, its financial problems, they're still very beautiful countries. Like, you know, the exotic animals, I would say definitely stay away from the snakes. You know, the snakes are extremely deadly.
I'm sure, yeah, definitely. So do you get to visit often, or?
I haven't visited as often because, you know, I'm, you know, been so busy, you know, working on my business, you know, and work and stuff. But we're trying to aim to at least go down there sometime this year.
Very
Especially with the newborn baby, you know, my sister wants to see her granddaughter. You know, like they're aiming to go down there.
You guys have quite a few generations. You have, your niece just had a baby.
Puerto Rican Panamanian.
So how old is your niece?
She's 23.
Oh, okay. Your niece is like your sister's daughter?
My oldest sister's daughter.
So are you the youngest, middle child?
So I'm like the middle child, and then I have a younger brother.
Okay. How's it like being the middle child? I'm the youngest.
Well, it's from my dad's side. You know, like, you know, we don't, me and my sisters, we don't have the same mother. You know, like I was born by a different mom, but my mom is Panamanian as well. I mean, yeah, my sisters were originally born in Panama. The oldest one, you know, the one that you know just had, you know, my niece's mom, you know, she came to the States at you know, around 21, you know, when she was pregnant with her.
She came to the States while pregnant?
Yeah.
Like migrated over, or like plane?
Yeah, you know, plane. You know, my dad brought her in. You know,
Oh, okay.
my own mom helped, you know, everyone with citizenship. Like,
Wow, that's incredible.
and it's crazy, like, you know, how much my parents have sacrificed a lot to, you know, bring, you know, not just us, but, you know, also like my sisters and even their grandchildren.
That's incredible. That's love.
Yeah. And sure, I never thought that I literally thought I would be the one that would bring my
Push
dad,
everyone to come out here. Yeah.
my father, you know, a grandchild. You know, I never thought that he would actually have a great grandchild just yet.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy how life works. I mean, me and my sister, we have not had babies yet, and I think about that now. Like, I'm 24 now, and I think about my timeline of life. But the way life and the world works is things are constantly changing and evolving. So I try not to put too much pressure on those things for myself.
Right.
You know, when the time is right, it's just gonna happen.
And I had that conversation, you know, with my sister while I was down there. There's never a rush to anything, you know. When you feel that the time is right, you know, the time is right. You know, when you feel that you're ready. I wouldn't say when anyone's ready, like when you feel, because only you know what's best for you.
Exactly.
And I mean, to my niece, she felt that she was just ready to have a baby, and
and it's a beautiful baby. You sent a photo in the group chat this morning. So precious, so precious. I can't lie, I do have baby fever. But I can wait, I can wait. I'll be fine.
But yeah, we have Puerto Rico, you know, like my other sister, her husband is Mexican.
So y'all got Puerto Rican, Mexican, Panamanian. Anything else in the family so far?
No, that's pretty much it. Just, you know, like those three, you know, those three. Oh, Cuban too.
Cuban.
Because my oldest sister, you know, my niece's sister, she's Cuban Panamanian because of, you know, the dad.
Miami, we see so many Cubanos. I want to visit Cuba for sure. Okay, so as far as your future then, what is in the cards for you now with like the real estate and everything? Like, what do you see for yourself like in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, you know, I don't, because I mean, 5 years is a lot of time, but
it also goes very fast.
It goes very fast, but
Yeah.
if I see myself in the next 5 years, you know, owning property, you know, all across the DMV, Don't sell the property in DC. You know, keep that, because that's equity. You know, like that can possibly be, you know, an Airbnb. My neighbor next door.
I definitely think a DC house, Airbnb, is amazing. You can take that if you want. It's okay.
No, it's all good.
But no, I think the Airbnb business in DC is extremely lucrative. You know, it's the nation's capital. So I'm with you on that as far as like your mom's plans and stuff. Great idea.
Most definitely, most definitely. You know, my dad wants to own property down in Panama. He's working towards one like near like the ocean. You know, he wants to plan like a whole Airbnb thing down there too. And yeah, like you know, I'm looking around like definitely, you know.
Just keep investing in properties and helping people close on properties and paying off their loans and things like that.
Yeah, I see it more as, I used to see things, because I used to own businesses back then. I would say I was not a very pleasant person, you know, in my past, in my 20s.
When you were owning the businesses?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way? Like, what do you mean by not as pleasant?
I burned a lot of bridges.
Really?
I was messing around with
This is an interesting topic. I feel like a lot of people burn bridges within business. It happens. So here, let's talk about it.
Yeah, like back then, like you know, used to, you know, like sell drugs and, you know, like
I mean, it happens.
like, you know,
I feel like we've all
drinking.
gone through certain things and also survival modes, I guess. Like you feel like you have to do those things.
Yeah, I wanted to be liked a lot back then. I wanted all the attention.
So you feel like maybe selling drugs and stuff was a form of validation, or do you feel like it was because you needed the money?
I needed the money and the validation.
Damn, it's crazy. But that's amazing that you have that awareness now to be able, and you've dropped that ego to be able to wake up and realize, you know what, I was doing this shit and I didn't really have to.
I feel like ego is one of the biggest things that kills many people, and then they, you know, it may be like short term, like, you know, it may be like short term pleasures, but you're just having those short term pleasures for long term pain. And it's not worth it, you know. Like if I would have, to be honest, I wouldn't. If I would have told myself in my 20s, I would just say, you know, keep doing what you were doing before, you know, keep doing what you were doing then.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, if I didn't learn back then, I would not be, you know, the way that I am now. I would not know who to trust and who not to trust. You know, I wouldn't know how to, like, you know, balance relationships.
You gotta be grateful for every experience and everything that you've gone through. Like, even those moments where you feel like maybe you weren't your proudest or the best version of yourself, that's what has helped build your character. You know, I go through these things every single day too, where I'm like learning through my own process and my own experiences. And I'm just grateful for every moment.
And, you know, you're still young, like, shoot, you know, like, probably, you know, when you're around my age, you know, like,
I'm gonna look back and I'm like, be like, what the hell was I thinking? No, seriously. But being graceful with yourself, being graceful and being patient with yourself.
Yeah. You know, patience, you know, discipline, and really just like drive and hustle. Like, even in this business, like, anyone that ever wants to do, whether it's entrepreneurship or real estate, like, you know, take time, but the most important thing is don't allow yourself to be that person that just sits around and then just like waits for the right moment or the right time. Like, or, you know, if I had the money, if you know.
That's also an ego thing.
Yeah.
Like feeling like you have to wait for the right moment, it's like, that's part of fear. Once you let go of that fear and you're like, what's the worst that could happen? And you just go for it. Even if you fail. I always talk about this. It's okay to fail.
Absolutely.
You should enjoy the process. Part of the process is falling 10 times and getting up 11 times. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, most definitely.
What's our timestamp so far? 12. We were at 25 before? 12, 13, perfect, okay. So normally we stop at like the 45-minute mark, so. Okay, boom, we'll pick back up.
All right.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing all that with us, because a lot of people don't even dream of doing real estate. They don't even dream, they might dream of it, but they don't actually take the steps to do real estate or to do entrepreneurship, because that may seem unconventional or risky, scary, and it is part of ego. You gotta let go of that fear so that you can thrive and do those amazing things that you want to chase. Do you feel like at one point maybe, did you always feel like when you started real estate you were just ready to do it, or do you feel like there was that fear lingering?
There was that
when
fear.
When did that transition of selling drugs to doing what you're doing now happen?
Because, you know, before that, you know, I used to be part of different, you know, investment companies. I've invested in Bitcoin and Forex and those different things. But the reason I did all that was so that I could, you know, have the capital to get started into the real estate industry. But I didn't realize, like, you know, there's all these different options and then these programs, and, you know, like, it's not as really as expensive or hard as people really think. It's simple, but I would say the reason why the business is hard because people just make it hard.
Like you said too, discipline. People lack discipline. I think that's huge. Like we all lack discipline to a certain extent. Like, for example, there might be a day where I'm like, I really need to focus on getting this podcast uploaded. If I want to go and have fun today, or I want to put my focus on other things, now my discipline isn't as sharp and as keen as it was before. So I feel like you said, business can actually be very simple if you just sit down, pen and paper, or with your computer, write out that business plan, write out your thoughts, get yourself organized. That's part of discipline, and just like creating an execution plan behind it.
Most definitely, you know, and, you know, keep track of everything you do day by day. Like, you know, and that's something I'm working on too. Like every time, you know, I'm reaching out to real estate agents or, you know, sellers, like I have to like make sure that I'm keeping track. That's the most important thing about real estate too. And even agents, they have that sort of habit. You know that there's a fun fact that the most inexperienced ones, they only make around 5 to 8 transactions a year.
Wow.
A year. While you could be making 5 to 8 transactions a month. And a lot of
that goes back to your own mindset, discipline, and hustle.
Exactly. And really, it really just takes work. Like, you really have to work it. Like, yeah, you know, it works, you know, it can make people successful. It's made people millions. But those people that are living, you know, in those boats, and they got those big, you know, condos out in Miami and all that, you know, you could probably ask them, like Grant Cardone and all of them, it was hard for them at first.
Yeah, and they probably went into debt. They probably failed so many times, were rejected a lot. You can't be afraid of rejection. It's okay to be rejected. Yeah.
Yeah, you will have your setbacks. You will spend money and you will lose money too. I'll be honest. But people have to see it more than just like a money aspect, or more than just like, I want to learn this and I want to do it, you know, with ambition and heart.
And yes, and also knowing that no loss is an actual loss, because you're always investing in yourself, even if it's in your education or long-term investing. Like, even with my music, you know, I invest a lot into my music. I invest a lot into my business, but it's because I know I'm building something long-term that's going to be sustainable for me in my future. Mm-hmm. So even if it means I have to lose a couple thousand here, I know that it's, whether it's developing me as an artist, or it's developing an album or some kind of project that I know long-term I'll either be able to monetize, or it'll just add to my craft. It's the same thing with business and real estate. Like, you got to look at it from that angle.
And one last thing I want to add to this about, you know, the real estate thing. Focus on building all those relationships. I see it more as a relationship business more than a transactional business. Build those relationships with those sellers. And that's with entrepreneurship in general. When you're, you know, you're doing your music, how well can you connect to you know, others? And, you know, like, what can you do to be of service to other people and, you know, building those relationships? And that's what I mainly focus on in this business.
Yeah, that's amazing.
One more minute.
One more minute?
Yeah.
And then we close out? Okay. That's amazing. Well, Victor, I want to thank you so much again for joining me on the show today. You always support me and the Elevate brand, and I want to make sure that I support you in every way that I can as well too. So I just want you to leave our audience off with whatever you know, last remarks you have, where we can find you, your business and everything. Let them know. Let us know.
Most definitely. One thing I just say is, you know, don't give up on your dreams, and just, you know, go out there and, you know, do whatever it is that you've always wanted to do. Like, you don't have to settle, you know, working for other people like that. There's a lot more than, the success and the money and all that stuff is out there. But, you know, just really do what you enjoy doing, and that's what matters. And I want to let you guys know, you know, leave, you know, with my social media, my Instagram, victor.salcedo.biz. You know, it will be in the description. I'll also leave a link on my Instagram bio. We are On Point Real Estate, and we work with all buyers and sellers and even investors of all kinds. And, you know, like anyone that is looking to buy and sell their house, you know, whether it's distressed, you know, we could, you know, figure out a way to see if we could get that property sold and, you know, help you guys, you know, in whatever distress situation, get you some money in the pocket, or, you know, help people, you know, move on with their lives as well.
Thank you so much for that. All right, you guys, make sure y'all tune in. Again, it's your girl Rena with the Elevated Experience, and I will see you guys next time.
Right.
Peace out.
I'm just saying, y'all, if we want to see a change, we gotta be that change. Be better for our children, better for the next generations to come. They're the ones up next, only hope we got left.